GSL.
Our fifth Code S player will be crowned in just moments here between Symbol and MyuNgSiK. It's going to be one of these two players. One of them is going directly to Code S right now in this winner's match.
Yeah, Symbol is going to play the same matchup again that he just played against his first opponent, Trust, where he was able to win the last match on Daedalus Point. And, well, for Trust, he's probably a little bit unhappy that he didn't patrol at least the probe at the edges of his base to find out if there is a Nidus network, but in the end, Symbol with a much better reaction that we saw from Sleep yesterday. So really well played there, and it's kind of funny to see the same build again that we had like
just yesterday, man.
Yeah, exactly. Ruin was starting with that wall, and apparently those games were watched by Trusty, and they're like, yeah, that's a pretty good idea, I'm gonna try that.
Let's just hope for Sleep's sake this previous game was not watched by him. He's probably like, oh no, I guess, yeah. Heavy Rain is going to be the first map between these two players. MyuNgSiK looking really calm, and he crushed Keen 2-0 in the early parts of today's group, so got to be feeling good coming off of that. Symbol, on the other hand, took a pretty easy win in our third set, so he's coming off of that momentum. MyuNgSiK has had a little bit more time to watch Symbol play, though, and the very same matchup he's about to play in, so keep that in mind. He's also had some rest time. Let's go into our very first game of this winner's match, this best of three to decide who will be the fifth player to go to Code S. On Heavy Rain, this is the GSL Code S, Code A to Code S with Calder and Ball.
MyuNgSiK versus Symbol.
Starting to the top left, we have Symbol for Team Azuru. The Zerg player who was victorious in game number 1 against the Protoss. In the first best of 3 against the Protoss player. This is, of course, the first game between him and his opponent in the winner's match. At the bottom of the map, the Protoss player. It is MyuNgSiK. Was able to defeat Keen. Quite dominant fashion, played really good series there.
Why is there no thunder on this map? I really want thunder effects, like sound effects. I want just the rumbling thunder.
I'm already disappointed in the rain. After
we talked about this yesterday. It doesn't look really like heavy rain. It looks like just put your hoodie up, and you just walk briskly, and you'll be fine.
Exactly, but yeah, thunder would be nice. But first of all, it has to rain a little bit more. I love thunderstorms, and sometimes we get really nice thunderstorms here in Seoul.
If you guys really like thunderstorms too, but it doesn't rain a lot where you are, and you're on your computer right now, put your headphones on and go to rainymood.com, and I probably just changed your life. It's a really awesome website. It plays ambient thunderstorm sounds, actually. And it doesn't actually, if you have your headphones on, it doesn't really like affect what you're doing. It's just like so light in the background, but it actually makes you feel like you're in a thunderstorm. And if you have like your lights off in your room and you have this
You're actually serious?
I'm serious. I used to use this a lot.
I thought you were
I still do from time to time. Rainymood.com. Check it out. And it's a really, really great way to pretend like you're in a thunderstorm.
Okay. I'm gonna try that.
Seriously, try it. It sounds crazy.
It is probably a little bit crazy. At least it sounds very crazy to me. But okay, very interesting at the same time too. What we also have here in the game now, by the way, is just that one annoying probe trying to just deny that expansion for as long as it can and annoy the drone a little bit. In the end, of course, that hatch is being built roughly around the 3-minute mark in this case. And we have at the bottom right in this scenario also an Nexus first started for Symbol, who has started things off with a pool first here. So now the forge for MyuNgSiK to start at the wall and make sure that he gets his defense up.
That probe almost looked like he wanted to gas steal there for a second. Of course, he's not going to. That's never a good idea against a Zerg player. The Zerg, if you double gas steal the Zerg players, I'm like, wow, I was just going to go for early queens anyways, thanks. And this is probe actually very low on hit points. He may escape. It's a tall order, though.
Yeah, for me, you know what? For me, it's really the map pool and what we currently see is really a little bit annoying for Protoss players, I feel, because they already know that the chances they have to play a game on Daedalus Point, if at some point they win a match, are really high. And if you have like your opponent taking game number 1 of, for example, you will end up in the end playing on Daedalus in game number 3, which is the deciding game here. There are no vetoes in this system, and that's a little bit probably annoying for players if you consider how the match or the balance discussion on maps like Daedalus is currently starting. So
yeah,
with this game, it's like you watch the last game, you don't know exactly, okay, am I really trying to play as just a straight up game, and am I confident in my ability to do that? We saw Shine not succeed against SOS with this.
I think it was Classic that he played against, wasn't it? Or was it SOS?
Pretty sure it was SOS.
Oh yeah, it was SOS.
And SOS is just on a different level, but if you play really against an opponent that's on eye level with you, it's going to be really difficult. So I feel that's something that MyuNgSiK has in this matchup in the back of his head playing a best of 3 series. So he will probably just... For him, the first map, in my opinion, is therefore even more important.
This is so interesting that he kills these rocks, because this is going to make it harder for him to attack that third base location. What do you think the reasoning on this is? Because if he wants to attack this, it only opens him one location to attack from if MyuNgSiK actually takes that as his third base location, which is pretty common.
It shuts down those rocks in the attack path towards the third base of this red play.
It could also be, I mean, later on. Yeah, I think that's what he's doing. But later on, it means that he could get the rocks down faster, and so it's not like MyuNgSiK can decide when he wants the rocks to be there, and then control that. That rock tower will go down pretty soon.
It's just like it really closes this path for a little bit so that you can't really go over to that third base as fast as you could without it.
Well, let's watch this rocks fall. Dustin Brower's like getting so excited. Whoa! Is he actually just trying to set up a trap here? I think he may actually be trying to do that, which is really weird, but it's like almost never going to work.
Would be pretty cool on the other hand.
He's really giving us a lot of suspense, though, that's for sure.
He definitely does.
11 drones on the way for Symbol right now. 16, by the way, not just 11. He gets 5 more.
Yeah, he's heavily droning at this point. And from MyuNgSiK we have, surprise, surprise, Phoenixes.
Okay, there goes the tower.
Alright, takes the tower down. Phoenixes is going to be the weapon of choice for MyuNgSiK once again. That worked also well for the last Protoss player against Symbol in map number 2 at least. Those Phoenixes were doing a ton of damage, not only sniping Overlords, but also getting a few Queens and Drones.
Yep, this Overlord will go down the bottom left. Overlord is in a place where it could be found and killed as well, but not necessarily. He's really taken quite the diligent effort to hide it. May actually escape death for a little while. 3 Spore Crawlers going up, and I wouldn't be surprised with all the early droning we had from him. He might even go into 6 pretty quickly after that.
It depends a bit on how he's working with the Queens. If he doesn't really assume that there's going to be a heavy commitment to Phoenixes, he's mostly going to stick it out with 3. I don't think he's going to go into 6, to be honest. He would have done that already. It's more about the placement where you have that then. So right now we have the 3 Queens, we have the Spore Crawlers. You need to make sure that your Queens are close to the Spore so that later the Phoenixes can simply lift and take them out without having to sacrifice the Phoenix too. But he's just droning at this point. He has those pylon, he sees them already, he takes them out before anything can happen there. So he feels pretty safe right now. He has those Queens, a huge amount of lava already, he's at 65. So he can now start with his unit production pretty soon. And the Phoenixes alone won't be a massive threat to him. He's even getting additional Spore Crawlers now because like he realizes, well, you do not have anything else on the map. You are only going for Phoenixes, so this is the only thing that can really do some damage to me now. So I bet I just invest in the additional Spore Crawlers before you start taking away my ignorance.
And he droned like pretty massively early on, so losing 3 more drones to make the Spores is not a massive deal. But he's going to actually transfer these at the worst possible moment. I can't believe he didn't turn those around right when the Phoenixes came over.
There was no transfer there. They just came out of the exit.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, he could have grabbed them, but I guess he let them go there.
Nah, I think he didn't see them in time. Oh wow, 2 additional Stargates. We're going to see Atos here from MyuNgSiK.
He did this in Pro League actually, and he fought Hydralisk with Phoenixes straight up, and that's how he played this matchup. It was pretty crazy.
I can see that happen. If you have the numbers, that's going to work.
So if he just masses Phoenixes here and it's not scouted, and Symbol just goes into normal Hydralisk play, he can just start fighting with, but he's researching the melee upgrades, meaning that probably he's planning on going to that Hive Tech and getting the Ultralisk out pretty quick. And the Phoenixes are starting to kill a lot of Overlords here.
That's the one thing that he can do against Phoenixes is just the Ultralisk, because they can't lift those.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel still that Phoenixes should be able to like tag team an Ultralisk, like 2 of them work together.
Maybe like takes 3.
Yeah.
Still haven't introduced that Caldor Arm upgrade to lift the Nexus.
Exactly.
Oh, triple Void Rays instead, actually, as it goes. And that's going to be great for, well, just about anything.
Symbol is already starting with a lot of additional queens. I do not think that he saw those additional Stargates, but he goes into triple queen right now. And as soon as he realizes what he's up against, and there's such a heavy commitment to air units, he's going to get more queens, he's going to get a Hydra Den, he's going to get a few infestors into the game, trying to get those chain fungals. If the Phoenix is clustered up at some point and you get those chain fungals in, that's just absolutely stellar. And right now he's losing the first Phoenix already, so that is why you go for double Spore Crawler if you see that there are a lot more Phoenixes than usual.
Yeah.
But we have actually a Spire started here.
Spire started Pathogen Glands, continues the melee upgrades for his units, and the Hive goes up as well. He's got a great drone count at 73 here, and his 4th base is on the way as well. I like how Symbol's playing this, but again, with Void Rays, it's sometimes a game decided by micro rather than macro against those with the fungals and the positioning of your units.
Well, and here we have the Void Rays moving in now, so he has those Void Rays at the beginning. The 3 Stargates only used for 3 Void Rays, and that's about it. He saw also the Infestation Pit and the tech that we had for Symbol with the Phoenixes. Great tool for scouting as well. And he decides to go into a different one, and this is all going to go down.
Every single queen will die here.
That is a massive problem here, caught off guard like this. He did not expect this to happen.
Yeah, he didn't expect the Phoenixes to come over, I suppose.
Well, actually...
He's going to maybe get the hatchery still. He's going to try to draw these queens up to the air, and yeah, he's going to get it. Cancel there and gets away with the Phoenixes.
He doesn't have the energy on the Phoenixes anymore. If he had the energy, he would have just swooped in and take everything, single queen up into the air and then snipe them one by one. But he didn't have the energy, and he knew that the queens would start to transfuse immediately, so the chances of him actually killing something there were pretty slim.
This is pretty nice for Symbol. There's not a whole lot here to defend. Only 1 cannon, 2 sentries. Those force fields look disastrous. And like you said, with not a lot of energy on these Phoenixes, he can lift the Roachas up one at a time, but he needs more Warpins. He needs those Void Rays to come home. Then they're not coming home, Cutter. They're still up there at the top. He's going to force a cancel on the hatchery again, maybe, but this is a dire situation at this 3rd base.
Oh my god, he's going to lose those Immortals now. They're completely caught off guard. He's going to lose a lot more than that, by the way. Those 3 Void Rays still do damage at the 3rd base and will force a cancel. Authority of 4th for Symbol. But at the same time, the Protoss player is losing so much. Finally used that recall.
He got the recall off, and this will actually save his hatchery, but he's losing so many probes. And you know what? It may not even necessarily save his hatchery. There's a Mothership Core going for the overcharge as well on the 3rd base, so it looks like he will save it, but he's going to lose another Immortal. And all of these Immortals are so important against the Ultralisk, and he's just not going to have them.
Yeah, there is double Immortal production right now. Ultralisk Cavern is on the way, and all those Lings, they did so much damage. Symbol is in a great position. It's not only about the supply, but the bank that he built up is absolutely massive. He has the gas, he has the minerals. He can go into Ultralisks right away, and he's even using those Overseers now for the Contaminate and making sure that his opponent has still a slowed down production of units. This is a great position for him. He's basically trading minerals against gas-heavy units.
No. Gets a probe here. I mean, exactly. He's trading minerals against gas-heavy units, and he's lacked the 4th base for a really long time. But because he's traded so efficiently, it almost doesn't matter. I mean, he would have loved to have it as well. But the fact that he's done so much damage means that it's okay. He's double expanding now, and he knows the Immortal count is still relatively low, considering that he was able to eliminate so many. He's still not going to Ultras just yet. Now he starts them. Gets Vipers first and continues the upgrades.
Yeah, exactly. The 3-3 upgrade started, whereas the Protoss is on 1-1. That's going to lead him into such a massive advantage here. And he's even taking another base. He's going straight into 5 bases, and he can completely dominate the map at this point. The army supply is only slightly in his favor, but that's only because right now he's still waiting for additional lava so that he can build more units. The gas is, of course, also a limiting factor for you. He has the lava. Actually, it's 19. I think he was waiting for the gas there to get into play once more. But this is a great composition for him. Good creep spread, connecting the bases, the extra queens. 14 of them, by the way. Oh, what a great fungal there. He's getting the queens in there. Another fungal would just put the end. Yeah, that's an end for the Phoenix. All of them are going to go down.
Yep,
that's 14 queens for the transfusers. That's a lot of infestors, 6 in total. That's absolutely enough for what he needs to do here.
And if you look at the productions of these 4 gateways he's adding, he would love to have those plus the gateways that he lost already at his 3rd base. He lost that wall. He lost so much of his production. He lost so much of his economy. He doesn't even have a gas bank to really rely on. And with this many queens for transfuses, plus the infestors that are still pretty high in energy, even though there are a lot of Immortals out and some Void Rays, I think that Symbol can crush this army whenever he wants to.
We're going to see Broodlords together with Ultralisk, the 3-3 upgrades. He's going to take, especially at that 5th base, probably only the gas for now, and then transfer a few drones over later on because he wants to take the minerals. But for now, it's really gas that is limiting him. He would love probably to have a few more creep tumors there and spread the creep a little bit faster. Maybe just send an Overlord over and drop creep for a second so he can place tumors down. That would help the queens a bit with their mobility. But even the snipe at the 4th base of the Protoss player is already doing a lot for him.
Yeah. I wonder, does he, you know, he does not have Adrenal Glands. something he could consider getting. But like you said, gas really being the limiting factor for him right now. Gets a Baneling Nest as well. That could be useful later on. This is a really great composition for Symbol, and he's just going to start slow pushing his way through here very carefully. And look at that, 3 grabs on 3 Void Rays. Fungal runs the Vipers away. The Queens just go to town, and that was about as good as it gets to respecting Void Rays.
Yeah, and at the same time now he's investing the rest of his resources, especially the gas that he has. He did take the gas at that 5th base that I was talking about. He's getting Broodlords now. There are Spine Crawlers coming up everywhere that frees up more supply for army supply, and it saves his bases against War Prism harass or run-bys. So this is super dangerous. There was a person actually right there, and a couple of Zealots already trying to run over to that right side of the map to make sure that this base can be taken later on from MyuNgSiK. But he finds himself in a very dire situation here. There's so much pressure coming from Symbol, and it's going to be very difficult for MyuNgSiK to defend against this attack.
Yep.
Especially with the Mothership Core now also gone.
Yeah.
That should die in a second there, and there it goes.
That was kind of weird. I was like, is that a hallucinated Mothership Core? I didn't know you could do that.
There's no anti-air. There's nothing against the Brute Force. There's absolutely nothing. He can storm a little bit, but that's it.
That's all he's
those
hoping
Immortals
for.
are great. He has 14 Immortals. That's awesome against the Ultralists, but there are only 3 Ultras.
And he's now actually fumbled and the Blinding Cloud on top of these, plus Banelings.
Beautiful. That is just amazing for Symbol. Blinding Cloud and Fungal, that's the best composition you can get out.
You know, he was really relying on Void Rays to help deal with the Broodlords, but he doesn't have any anymore. They're all gone. The Stalker's being warped in here way too late, and MyuNgSiK is just getting picked apart left and right now.
There are 14 Immortals and not a single Ultralist died because he just transfuses the entire time. And Symbol, he wins that fight. That wasn't even a real fight. That was a beatdown.
That was yeah.
And MyuNgSiK loses game number 1. Symbol just super solid there.
That wasn't even fair.
No, it definitely wasn't. I don't think that MyuNgSiK ever scouted that Great Aspire, and he completely did not anticipate that this would happen. He thought there was an Ultralist transition. He prepared with a massive amount of Immortals.
Like, way
the thing
massive
is,
Immortals, like
Symbol
14.
If Symbol commits to Ultralist and gets like 10 of those into the game, MyuNgSiK crushes this. But like then Fungal and the Blinding Cloud in combination is already going to be amazing for him.
He got the Void Rays for free.
The Void Rays, exactly. Those were down immediately. That was another big problem for him.
If he had the Void Rays there, maybe he could have helped with the with the Broodlords, but with all those Queens there, the Void Rays wouldn't still have been able to do a ton. Plus the Infestors would have fungled them again.
And that basically means that MyuNgSiK is going to have to play a potential Game 3 on Daedalus, most likely.
He picks Yunsu here, the same map 2 pick we saw from our other Protoss player.
It's loser's pick, guys, in case you didn't know. And so far, Symbol pick versus the 3rd map, Daedalus Point. It's a great map for Zerg versus Protoss. And it's very difficult for a Protoss player to find a strategy that is really solid against Zerg.
The thing is also he lost to Symbol in the late game, so maybe he wants to get started doing a timing attack here on Yunsu. It's a smaller map, it's a little bit easier to do that. I could see an Immortal push here, maybe even a +1 Zealot timing to try to cancel or kill that 3rd base, you know, try to knock that down if Symbol plays a little bit too greedy. Something like that I think would be a really good choice, because Symbol's late game in this matchup is clearly still 100% in shape.
Hey, he's just a great player, and he showed it in game number 1, but he has to show it again if he wants to go straight to Code S. Here we go, game number 2, Symbol versus MyuNgSiK at the GSL Code A.